ever since I was a kid, everyone said it couldn't be done. My whole life, people have been telling me what I could do and couldn't do. I've always listened to them, believed in what they said. I don't want to do that anymore.
I want to tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart. I do. I've seen it. You have shown it to me. You have shown this coaching staff, your teammates. You have shown yourselves just exactly who you are in here. From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows. And if you do that, we cannot lose. How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. We can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. Every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
Something that they don't know. They don't know your heart.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me.
So come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, and forever. Amen.
we are back. It's Friday night. You're joined by the Limitless channel and my co-host, Awake Souls. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing sort of well. I came down with a cold today. The weather has been up and down. Like I've been waking up, it's been below freezing, then all of a sudden it heats up and it's back and forth. I've actually got a cold. I haven't had a cold in years, but I have a real cold. And I took some nighttime Alka-Seltzer and, had dinner, and I am laid out. So I'm sorry, everyone. I will do my best, but I don't normally take any pills, any medication, anything like that, ever. I don't use pain pills. I don't, not even like Tylenol or Advil and stuff like that, but my nose was just, and I was sneezing like crazy. And I took the nighttime one, and it stopped up the nose, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be all right. And it started to pop again right before we went live, and I tried some spray stuff from allergy stuff that I had, but I don't know. Please bear with me, people, tonight.
Just give it a chance. Let's not worry too much. It is Friday night call-ins. I'm also suffering from severe migraines, which I don't ever really get, but I have been super physically active this week. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up and the shares. I haven't shared this yet. Wow, what a week. Friday, it came around quick, right, brother? So I know you had a busy week, but any points or anything that you wanted to say?
Let's see here. I've sort of been keeping people up to date, even through the Hangouts here, as to what's going on in my personal life to a degree, because it's going to affect the way some of the things that I can do, like building these generators and stuff like that. So I'm dealing with maybe another pushback, another extension on closing on my property. And the date that they've asked for is January 11th. And so 1/11/19 or 9/1/111 is what they've asked for. And so I'm negotiating on that. It really puts me out. But so that's taking place. We'll see what happens with that. And let's see. Just on a day-to-day thing, even though this is the slow time of the year for construction because people are busy with the holidays, I'm a builder, remodeler. They don't necessarily want people in the house torn up during holidays. So this is generally a slow time period, but so I'm also a project manager. So I sell jobs, I design them, I bid them out, and when somebody signs a contract, then I manage the whole project from start to finish. And sales have been fantastic. So even though things have been tough for a while, coming up in a little bit, things should really pick up for me. And I bring that up because I'm not trying to get rich in this world. What I want is to have enough money to be able to move forward, this free energy or fuelless energy technology, and share with everybody, build a bunch of these things, and actually set up a community around the making of these things available. So it to me, it's just money to invest into doing something I've wanted to do for a long time now. So it's exciting. It's a lot of work, but what else is there to do? I really don't indulge in what would be hobbies, stuff like that, the extracurriculars. I'm just not indulging in it. Not that I don't like those things. If I could go play hockey a couple times a week or whatever, that'd be fantastic. But if I was doing that, that would seriously deduct from what I'm able to do with you and this truth research and all that kind of stuff. So I'm putting that off for later. What about you? What's your week been like?
It's been a pretty constructive week for me. I've been, like I said, I told everybody, I think it's important.
We've got your audio is sort of garbled right now. Sorry about that, but
I've had a pretty good week. I've been trying to tell people to stay physically active, and I've been doing that myself, except for these last 2 days. I've been went a little bit down. I think it's the switch in the weather. We went from like minus 30s to.
I don't think you're going to be happy with the way the audio is right now. I really don't.
Okay. I'll fix it. You take.
Oh, it was. I heard you a couple times said it sounded better.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably just the connection. The weather's been so up and down up here. But it was a good week for me. I continue to push forward with my conditioning and physical well-being. As for the truth movement, wow, there's so much to go over here. I guess Nathan Thompson I guess Patricia's back. Which is a bit odd, right? Is that louder or is that too loud? It's good.
No, it sounds good. It was all of a sudden it popped back in. Like you said, connection. It goes from like this muddled, like you're off in a hall somewhere, and then all of a sudden, boom, crystal clear.
Yeah, it's probably just connections. The sky is clearing up. I just wanted to give a shout out to anybody. There's 2 meteor showers taking place. There's 2 meteors in the sky plus meteor showers. That'll be tonight. The best time will be between 5 and 7 tomorrow morning after midnight, which is really, it's the next day where we are when we calculate our days with the sunset as the start of the new day. So we got Nathan Thompson from the official Flat Earth and Globe Earth discussion group page out here, absolutely just shilling for Satan. Right? What do you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, I got to pick up a little bit of that hangout before we went live tonight. And so, yeah, this Nathan Thompson, and we've got Derek in the chat, I believe. This is somebody that we've identified as promoting lies and deception because he's teamed up with these AE map and model people. And, Pat's awful. Pat was brought into this movement by Mark. Mark's the guy who is behind the Curve documentary. All you got to do is look at Amazon and it says Behind the Curve by Mark Sargent. And so these you can identify, once you've identified a couple shills, then you see who they hang out with. And then when we were going through Behind the Curve just the other night, Wednesday, you picked up on right away he was in it, and he flashed some satanic sign. And so I guess, Derek, you were telling me that, because I'm not on Facebook, but you are, but Derek's been like, hey, putting it to him, hey, you got to answer some questions or whatever. And that's awesome. When I heard that, I was driving home from work and Ronnie and I were talking, and that really made my heart sing, because that's the type of spiritual warfare that all of us need to be involved in. When you come up against somebody that is spreading lies and disinformation, you got to stand up, call them out, be like, hey, that's not true. This is true, and actually confront them on it. So there's that whole other aspect of meekness that all of a sudden jumped into my mind.
Oh, well,
what?
That's what you just said, the word of the day. Today, our biblical research is going to be into the word meek. We don't have to do it right now. You said the magic word of the day.
No, not magic. Not magic.
No, yeah, sorry. Whatever.
The special word of the day.
Spiritual. The spiritual word of the day is meek and meekness, because I noticed that the Satanists love to say, I'm not a Christian. You guys have been set up by the government to be passive and weak, and thou shalt be meek. The meek shall inherit the earth. That's an absolute lie, right? So we're going to get into that. You could screen share that one. If you want to get into that now, or do you want me to continue here?
No, let's continue here. I'll just let everybody know that I burned through, I would say, 30 channels trying to comment on this.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I would use a channel, I would drop the comment, I'd flip to the next and watch it be deleted. Make a comment with that channel, flip to the next, watch it be deleted. They actually did read one of my comments, though. They did read one of them.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was amazing. I don't know why they did, but I think the channel was Speak Truth, and Nathan had just said he's allergic. She was asking if he was allergic to cats, and he said no, he's allergic to CGI. And
oh, keep going.
And Nathan just recently put up a video of the sun shrinking, right? A shrinking sun, which none of us have ever seen. When you watch this, it's obvious CGI. It's complete nonsense. And so I called him out. I'm like, the video you just put up was CGI, and they read it. I couldn't believe it. Where's this shrinking sun video? Yeah,
it's right here. So anybody that's got eyes in their head can go out and watch a sunset and completely verify. You know, this type of thing does happen to a degree. When you take a time lapse footage of the sun, there's its regular size. Now, keep in mind that the focal length from the camera that's being used here is at a greater length than what your eyeballs are actually zoomed in much better. So what happens is, as the sun sets, its glare, its brightness decreases. So then you can actually see the difference between the blown out version of the sun, because it's so bright for the camera to pick up. And then once it starts to set, it goes to its original size. This has already been completely debunked by Mikhail. But like you said, Jason, no one in their life has ever gone to an ocean.
Just look at this.
And watched the sun like this.
Okay, so the sun is above the horizon. Has anybody ever seen the sky be completely dark before the sun sets?
Yeah, that's another thing that they do. They turn a bunch of the settings down. And the horizon is where my pointer is right now. Right? You can clearly see here where the horizon is. You can see it's changing. So it's clearly CGI, but so what Nathan does, like that, this is so bad, this footage, man. That was so bad. So what he's doing is he goes out and he obfuscates, he steals. So throughout this interview, he's got this shirt on with his logo, and he says he's the founder. He's really proud of it.
But we still love each other, right? I love for you. Yeah, that's nice.
He fake started to cry during the hangout. Right, because he was crying because he called her a tranny, and he takes it back now, and he cried over that. So really wish you're feeling.
I don't cry about calling Pat a tranny whatsoever, and I don't take it back.
I'm still on the fence.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm willing to say that it is a monster either way.
I don't believe that's a 58-year-old woman. That's what I'll stand on.
Well, she said she's 56 in this podcast. So
she said that 2 years ago. It's 50.
Yeah. Well,
right.
So, again, this symbol, the fasces or whatever the reef, this is it's a Roman symbol that they used to wrap these around you and then burn you to death when you were a heretic, right? It's a super satanic symbol, as well as the New World Order symbol, right? He's got that plastered on. Plus, he's got a flat Earth with South America on a underneath ball. This is his logo. And then he's got the sun and moon doing circles. He's got it on a neck pendant. And he's also got the same thing on his hat. Like, if people think that this guy, and he's going on, I'm here to love everybody. Blessed are the peacemakers. They dedicated a good 45 to a half an hour talking about flat Earth unity and how the Muslims and the Christians and the Satanists and how everybody should just say we all are agreeing that we're on the same team because we believe the Earth is flat.
I'm not on the same team as those people right there. I can guarantee you that.
Well, no.
The one that the gender is in question, but being a disinformation agent is not in question whatsoever. She was brought in by Mark Sargent, the guy who brought out the Hit Piece documentary. Those fasces and all that by Nathan. At the end of this, he does the Freemason, put the arm out flat like that, the first degree initiate. He's, in my mind, a solid confirmation Freemason. I don't see any other way around it. The AE map and model is the New World Order. So I'm getting so sick of these Freemasons, these secret societies, the Jesuits, the Rosicrucians, the Knights Templars, all these jokers. They've sworn oaths to promote the Great Deception. All right. And so the Great Deception isn't just the heliocentric line, but it's also the false economy AE map and model. Right there is your UN logo. Right there.
This is the New World Order, the one world government, the one world system. So what they want to do is they know that the flat Earth was going to get out, right? They know it. It's still in the Bible. It's still in the extra canonical scriptures. That has never changed. But technology has grown, and the advent and the rise of the internet has allowed people to research and connect with like-minded people, which works both ways. You can be radicalized, or you can be bathed in the truth. The light of the truth can shine upon you from the internet. It's spread throughout, just like the leaven is in the whole lump. But they want to make, so, most of the people are going to stay with the ball indoctrination. They've spent quadrillions of dollars on that, right? Cradle to grave. They got the globe and the universe and the Big Bang over your head. And the small percentage of people that actually wake up to that deception are going to be banned. They're going to be forced into this physical world where there's a dome, and they're going to tell you,
Truman Show.
The Truman Show, basically, where it's divided into 33 sections. It's the Freemasons run it all. The Freemasons, the Knights Templar, the Jesuits, like you said, all the secret societies. Anybody willing to sacrifice to the devil, to Satan, right? They've occulted so many of our words. They go around saying that Lucifer is their god, when Lucifer was a reference to the morning star, and it was a reference to the falling of Satan, how high he was. So it's the false dichotomy, right? They know what they're doing. But you have guys like this Nathan Thompson guy going around literally saying that he's fighting the New World Order. It was really pathetic, because the next point of contention that I want to bring up is they did about an hour to 45 minutes of vegan promotion. Right? They got up on their high horses, they perched themselves up, and they just started bashing. They said that it was just rotting flesh. That's all Nathan kept saying. How could you eat rotting flesh? It was funny because they had to admit, because the carnivore diet, the carnivore crew, has forced to the light, as well as famous YouTube stars that are vegan athletes have come out and said, yes, I have bad gas. I'm bloated. I get rosacea all over my face. Because truly, veganism is the New World Order diet. This is what the United Nations wants. Listen, all you have to do is a little bit of research into history, and you'll find out the kings and queens that lived the longest ate the meat. The poor people ate the potatoes and the corn and they died in their 30s. Okay. This is nothing new. Our bodies need to ingest the proteins that only come from meat. This is the way that the earth was created and the reality of where we are. And they literally, they go on to say, both of them, all of that stuff is a lie. You don't get bloated. You don't get gas. And then 45 minutes later, they said, oh, and if you're new to veganism, I just want to warn you that you are going to get bloated. You're going to get rosacea and you're going to have bad gas.
Your hair is going to fall out.
Your hair is going to fall out. They literally, they read in the same. See, my thing is, you always pointed out, it's 100% fake. These two people are employed by the New World Order. They are puppets, right? They know it. It's fake. They have fake people in the chat that support them, right? They have fake attitudes. Like, just listen to the intro. Like, remember, the flat earth, this deception is nothing to be happy and laughing about, people. What they're doing is pacifying, trying to. It's not working, because I saw a lot of negative commenters in the chat. Lucifer is just the morning. Sorry, Catherine, I'm going all ADD. Lucifer is the morning star. It's a reference to Yahushai. He is the morning star. But listen to this. Listen to the way they start.
I bought everything. That blew my mind. I bought everything. That blew my mind. That was like it's a satanic deception. It's spiritual, which is one of the reasons that.
Obviously, I can't get back to the beginning. It hasn't rendered. This guy here, every word that comes out of his mouth is blasphemy. Listen, and you know what he does, Jason? He steals all of our talking points, which the jet fuel hoax wasn't started by you. It was started by Agent Chills. You came in and boom, hit it with the truth, right? Actually came up with viable ways that the vortex engines were actually doing this over Unity. You're the one building a fuelless free energy device. This guy here on his podcast says, yeah, we're not just flat earthers here. We're free energy and jet fuel hoaxers. So what he does is he steals our talking points and then railroads it into veganism, Satanism, and all things wrong.
Yes. There was there's something else. I'm just in the mood for going out on the limb on things, right? Because I'm out on the limb calling Patricia a tranny, but whatever. I'll take my licks if I'm wrong.
She's got a huge head, though.
Something that I picked up on. I was contemplating this a lot earlier, but it came up again in this video. People keep going to his memory techniques, and he does the juggling and the memory techniques and stuff like that. And he's really banging on this memory thing like it's some sort of awesome thing. But keep in mind that just memorizing things, that's how we got into this mess that we're in right now, because we went to our indoctrination centers called schools. It's programming. They just want you to memorize things. Memorize. And that's what he promotes, is this memorization. That right there is how you can be indoctrinated. What you want to have is actual strategic, logical, problem solution oriented thinking, where you can figure out how to solve things, right? That doesn't come from memorization. So that's a total mess. And then, so when he was at the convention, he spent more time with that Zipco guy, the guy that you could tell him.
That's his brain coach.
That's his brain coach. That's what I'm saying. That's his brain coach. He brought his brain coach to the convention, and so he did nothing but promote his brain coach. That was all set up. That was orchestrated. There was nothing genuine about that whatsoever, in my opinion.
Every story that he tells, he's repeated over 1,000 times. Everything that comes out of his mouth is scripted. Every word.
Mm-hmm. He drops the name of the brain coach in this. He says his name during this hangout here, So I don't know. We could do the back check to find out whether or not anybody has the name of the zip code guy at the conference. But I would be willing to throw $100 down on something like this and say, "Yep, that's his brain coach."
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm pretty sure I remember watching it. He's probably got him on his channel, but
the whole time he was doing the live streaming, he wasn't saying, "Hey, everybody, this is my brain coach." No, he was like, "This guy is amazing," and then he wanted to relate it. Hey, I do memorization things too. I can do the alphabet backwards. I can do this. I can do pi to this. Right? He never acknowledged him while he was live streaming like it was his brain coach, but it was.
Yeah, you make a great point that, yeah, Michael LeVay is the name of the brain coach. You make a really good point because memorizing something like Hooked on Phonics, how to spell, how to do math, or let's take it to this level, memorizing globe Earth facts, right? You could memorize that till you're blue in the face, but it's not gonna help you at all. What you need to do is try to figure out, is the Earth a globe and how to come to those. So being skeptical with an open mind and being able to weigh evidence are things that I work on. So the brain coach, supposedly, the brain coach obviously knows that he's in a simulation, right? You're never going to hear that out of Nathan's mouth, right? You're never going to hear that. But they obviously know. And he's using this as a tactic. He said he grew 3 inches taller or something, and he put on all this muscle simply by working his brain, he says, right? Which in a simulation, there is a possibility that might be half true, but I just believe that everything that he says is it's a lie, contrived lie. And I'm calling him a liar on the veganism because, he's got a pudgy face. Okay. If you want to see what a vegan looks like, someone who hasn't been eating meat for years, they don't have no pudgy face. I'm sorry. They don't, not at all. He's a liar. And then, she says, we're going to a restaurant. She's going to buy him dinner now. He flies around the world. He said his job is to meet people, to talk about the flat earth, which is unbelievable. They're going to a restaurant that's not vegan, but they have vegan items. I guarantee you, I bet you they're both eating probably steak and red wine right now, right? That's what these two. We'll bring Derek and a couple of people in soon. We've got a couple more tabs to go through, but did you have any more points? So I just want to warn people. Oh, in the back, she had to do damage control about behind the curve again. Did you hear that part?
Yeah, right after we did our thing Wednesday, showing everybody that globe busters. See, that's the thing I was getting.
I called out Bob in the chat.
Yeah, I called out Bob, and
Bob denied proving that the Earth moves 15 degrees.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never said such a thing.
He called me a liar. I'm like, it's in the movie.
It's in the movie.
You can't deny it. Like, you said it twice. One time he said it, he was mic'd up with a lapel having a private conversation at the Denver meetup. It's in the movie. Everyone can see it. How can he deny it?
Yeah, I burned a number of channels trying to pound that point into Bob's head today.
So yeah, Scott Braz pointed out. I saw the thumbnail for that. So Rob Skiba, that's another name that I wanted to quickly touch upon. Rob Skiba is on the Parable of a Vineyard. So Caleb from the Gen 6 project, who we called out Adam. Caleb stood up to us and said that we were wrong and we were blaspheming and we were, Satanists. And now Caleb, who I don't care about the credit, he's turned around and he's doing the exact same thing towards Adam. Whether it's false infighting or not, he's calling out the true deceptions that are being put forth. So it's funny that you got Rob Skiba tonight on the Parable of a Vineyard, and there was another hint that Nathan Thompson threw out to add to the drama. So there's this big war going on between Skiba and Dean Odell, right?
That's what you were saying. I haven't had the time to follow that fake fighting.
Well, I usually do tune into Dean's Sunday. I like the scriptures, and I like to watch everybody talking about them. And I do that without any bias, whether or not I completely the scriptures. In the last episode that he did was an hour and a half, 2 hour show dedicated to bashing Rob Skiba and the Torah. So what Nathan had spilled out was that Patricia needs to come to so Matt Wolf met a woman at the Canadian conference. I can't remember when that was. I don't think it was that long ago, but he's marrying her now. And Rob Skiba lives in Dallas. Matt Wolf is from just outside of Dallas, Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. They're twin cities.
And, the Twin Cities. Yeah, that's right. They're connected. So Dean Odell is going to be the minister or the pastor at the wedding. And Rob Skiba is probably like one of the best men because, Rob Skiba is how Matt got into the flat earth. So, what you had said before was that you thought it was fake infighting. Maybe nobody's watching Skiba right now. And what Dean Odell does is throw up this tantrum and then gets everybody to go look at Skiba. Then Skiba says this about Dean. And then all they're doing is they're just fake infighting. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was funny that Skiba was on. So, Caleb was calling out the parable of a vineyard because
more fake infighting, in my opinion.
Yeah, which very well could be true, but the truth that's being said on both parts, Dean Odell and Caleb, are actually taking talking points from us. So they're both more the parable of the vineyard. We've known it right from the start. He's an ex-military or still working in the military. But he's been promoting that Yahushua is not the way, that following the Torah is the way to heaven. And, it's like you said, it's probably, I don't know if it's real or fake.
Because all these channels come out with a bunch of truth up front and they play it real clean for a while. And then they start mixing in lies and deception. And then they go into a faction off where somebody that's actually on their team does a fake fight with them. And then they divide and they split. And so this is the rabbit holes. This is how Satan's CIA, MK Ultra, whatever Project Monarch, or whatever you want to call it, what these people have figured out is that they want to split us up and divide us as much as they possibly can, because like the scriptures say, when two or more are together, then Yahweh's spirit can work within us. And so they don't want two people to have an aligned opinion. They want to tear everybody apart and keep us all separate. And so whenever I see these, you can go back through the early part of the flat earth, like Pat and all these people were doing it, where they would set up some sort of drama and they'd create a fight, and then there was a split and a division, and everybody would go, in this direction or that direction. And people have seen it in divorces and stuff like that. When there's a divorce, it's like, are you going to be on the guy's side or the girl's side? It's everything. They want to faction us off into the smallest group possible.
Yeah, you've nailed that. Your point is right on, right down to the point where Nathan, this guy right here, pretended to call her out as a tranny just to keep the dialectic between the two of them going. So what they do is they share subs, right? That's what the whole goal is to divide you and to have you going back and forth from their content. That's why the only time you'll ever hear our names with other YouTube channels is when they say Jason or Ronnie. So, I've been tagging Jason and Ronnie with our videos now, hoping that someone puts in Flat Earth Jason or Flat Earth Ronnie, and maybe it'll come up, because that's our ultimate goal, is to reach the truth seekers and the indoctrinated people that don't know that they're being fooled by these Decepticons. Wow, this Nathan guy, he is a real piece of work. There's another video that was published today That sort of triggered me. I just want to play a bit of it, and I want to get your guys' opinion on how this sits with you. So the guy who wrote this song is admittedly, he was an atheist, I believe, less than 2 years ago. I don't know how old the song is, but he said he was to the point where he would go around and he would troll Christians and make them cry. But now he's a flat earther, and he supposedly follows the creator. So Joe puts this up. Take a listen. Let's have a listen. Let's hear.
You guys had it right when we started the road. Okay. All right, you ready? Hold on. I'm sorry, guys.
Just a closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus, hear my plea. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from now on. Satisfied as long as I walk, dear Lord, close to thee.
That's enough, brother.
You had enough?
That's enough.
So how does this song make you feel?
Can you tell me anything that you notice about the outfit of the guy with the ukulele thing?
It's black and white.
Black and white.
Plus, there's some sort of a symbol on his hat, but yeah, he's entirely in black and white. So yeah, here's my message. Is this mockery of Yahushua / Jesus? The spirit from this guy is not holy and is not something I feel God is a part of in any way. So look at his response. You're breaking my poor little heart. That's what he said, this guy, right? So these Satanists, but you got to read what Effed Up World said to me. All I can say is that you are looking for that. Don't look for that. You are missing the awesome song and the awesome lyrics and the spirit-filled praise of Jesus. You are still allowing the world's idea of holy to ruin the praising of Jesus. Sing praises to the Lord and don't think you are fooling anyone with the 22 thumbs down. Please consider the motive behind what you do. You know I love you, but you even made a show about me calling me a Satanist imposter. I don't hold that against you because we are all learning and being very cautious about our ways and who are involved with. I understand, but you have to realize that there is a real body of Christ and these people do love God and are making music and praising him. Please try to encourage as much as you can when you see people doing these things for the Lord.
Do you want to know what I think of that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Satanists get away with acting like they're Christians when they put all this praise on Jesus. All right, because I think when the Freemasons go through their death oaths that they swear, that at a certain point they find out that the name Jesus actually refers to Satan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the devil. And so when they're saying, praise Jesus, 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 that they can do it with honesty. They can do it with conviction because they are Satanists. Now, I mean, he's heard us enough to know that any 5-year-old, once they've found out the letter J didn't exist until like 500 years ago, is going to know for sure that the name Jesus isn't correct. Anybody can figure that out. as soon as you hear that the letter J didn't exist until 500 years ago. So to people like this, what is your research? What does your research tell you? What is the correct name? Because we know that there's only one name by which you might be saved. So what is your research showed you if the letter J didn't exist 500 years ago? What's the real name? So I don't know. I just think he's an absolute Satanist, and he uses the name Jesus over and over and over because it means Satan. It's a Jesuit name. It was created by the Jesuits.
Yeah, the J and the V were both added by the Jesuits. The name was Hawa, right? That was the original name for the father. He said, "My name is Hawa," and then Moses added Yah for he. And Hawa means exists, so he exists. And then he came in the flesh, and his name was Hawashai, which means savior, right? Deliverer, deliverance, right? His hat that he's got on here is disguised as 3 crosses, but it's really a trident. And the name Jesus or Jesus refers to earth swine and Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Hail Zeus.
Hail Zeus and earth pig, earth swine.
Yes.
So don't go around, anyone out there, don't be blinded. Okay, I still say, as you can see in my comments, for people that are still ignorant to the true name of the creator, they haven't done the research, I still put the /Jesus. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's fine if you don't know. If you don't know, that's fine. But
once you find out there wasn't a J 500 years ago, then it's sort of all over. You can't really. Then you do the research. You find out that a Jesuit created this name. It's an obvious mockery by Satanists.
Yes, and you find out that the letter J was the Y, and the letter V was the W. So, Jehovah from the Jehovah's Witness was the closest English translation. When you reverse it back, it's Yahweh. Done. Yahushua. And not only that, you can do the ancient studies, and you can find out that the book of Joshua, which was actually called the book of Yahushua, is the way that they spoke. But Joe, yes, we called you out, Joe, because you had a black and white spiral behind you in all of your videos that you were posting, and you were associating yourself with people who in our minds and our research are shown to be not working for Yahushua. They're working against him. So we called you out. I stuck by you because I am a peacemaker. I try to be a peacemaker. And I was one of the only flat earthers or Christians that actually invited you on, Joe, F'd Up World, to come on our broadcast and teach our viewers what you think is the signs that Elon Musk might be the Antichrist and that the rockets that he's using might be what John saw. And I was fully willing to share you. I don't see anybody else reaching out to you. And it just burns my heart because he tells me he loves me, and he tells me that this is actually praising God. This. I'm sorry, but this is not praising the creator. And I hate it. I don't hate it, Jason, but I have to tell you, man, so I got to give you a little bit of credit. You seem to be right. So maybe Joe doesn't know that he's working with a Satanist. Maybe he's fooled, but you're not fooled. So you were able to call out this guy. You were able to call out Nathan Roberts. You were able to call out Adam and Caleb. I guess together we have seen every word that people speak, and all the images and the videos and all the things that they put their time into are what we see. And then how our spirit feels when we watch your content, we then share with everybody as a witness to. And that's the truth of it. I don't have any hatred towards you or Dan Pratt or this guy. I just hate that you guys are mocking the creator. And if you think that I'm being cynical, you got something wrong with you, man. You need to pray for the Holy Spirit, and I'll pray for it too, that you get it.
He needs it. Otherwise, We know what happens to people that, mock the creator. It doesn't work out well for them in the end, right?
No, not at all. But that's this guy. There he is. There's the song maker. If you guys want to go over and check it out, like I said, I don't. Me and Jason don't hide people's names and channels, but we expose. And the other thing that we exposed is that the cross. This isn't what Yahushua was nailed to. I generally like to refer to it from the Old Testament scriptures that called it the Savior would be hung on a tree. So Yahushua was nailed to a tree, to a post. Right? He wasn't nailed on a Y cross, like this cross pattern here. This symbol is actually Egyptian, pagan, and satanic. Right? So,
Yeah, what the studies show that people that were it wasn't crucified, they were put up on a torture stake.
That's right.
And that's the way they did it. And we don't have proof that it wasn't a cross, but if you do the research, torture stakes are the way they executed people, and that was just a post. The person had a nail through their hands above their head, and then their feet were nailed.
And they pried it up into a hole.
Yeah, they pushed the post up into a hole and let the person.
That simple.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and not only that, the Bible doesn't literally say the words flat earth. Okay. It doesn't. So it's a lie on top of a lie. I just see the spirit of the Antichrist. So that's another thing too. I really see the people saying they're coming in the name of Christ everywhere, and their hearts are so far from the truth. And the truth isn't roses and flowers. It's the truth. You don't hear of spirits encountering angels or the creator and not like being flung down to their faces in terror. This isn't something that's weak or soft. This is something that's really, really, really strong and powerful. And these kind of people here, they showed up in flat earth and the Christianity for the money. Okay. Their fruit totally shows everything about them. They're all monetized with super chats and donations, and just follow
we might be getting close to our spiritual word of the week.
The meekness study. Because there was this temple thing I wanted to show you really quick, and then I'll let you go into that, and then we'll bring people on. Let's check this out.
The Messiah will be the judge. The Mashiach will be the judge, and not for what he sees, and not for he hears, but what he smells.
You believe the Mashiach ben David is coming to
Mashiach
this
ben
temple?
David is very soon, and he is a Jew, and he is not Jesus. And if the Christians want to hold it, they can hold it. But we will never change our mind. We prefer to go back to Auschwitz and not to change our religion. This is the main thing. We are loyal.
What would happen to Christians who refuse this Messiah and hold on to Jesus?
Then we will see. We will see. I don't know. I'm not the Messiah.
So yeah, what we've got here is this new Sanhedrin and the dedication of the third temple altar, which is unbelievable to see. We thought this was fake news, friends. We didn't realize this was even real news. We thought it was one of those weird articles on the internet, but it turns out 10:30 a.m. this morning in Jerusalem, we actually have a dedication ritual for the altar, sacrificial altar of the third temple, the day after Hanukkah, the feast of dedication. We have this dedication ceremony by the new Sanhedrin.
Building the third temple, then everybody will prosper, because this is what this temple is for the whole world.
So you think that there could be some union between all the religions as part of this?
Absolutely. We already have unity, but everybody's afraid from the terrorists. So this is our job, to unify everybody to worship the only true living God.
So I got to pause it there. Are you there, Jay?
Yeah.
So you understand that the Talmudic, the synagogue of Satan, the Jews that are Jews that say they're Jews that are not, they're trying to build a third temple, and they're trying to unite all religions together.
Yeah, that's a sign that we're really close to the end, right?
Well, and they denounce Yahushua, right?
Another sign that we're very, very close to the end.
Well, no, they've been doing that the whole time. Yeah, here's them
for the third temple.
So yeah, here's them burning their. This is supposedly. I don't know why they couldn't use something better than pallets.
Yeah, that's
but
really
they're dedicating.
And look at the concrete work on this. Like, who did they hire to put that? That's the worst looking temple I've ever seen.
Yeah, this thing's pretty sad. I don't know how old this wall is, but I know this thing they just did.
It's
really bad.
I would fire that contractor and not pay him. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're just burning pallets.
17 הוא אמר. ואז הממונה אומר להם, הצביעו.
I wanted to point this out. What are they doing? This is a pose that these people make. Where have you seen that pose before?
Freemasons?
The Baphomet.
Yeah.
Not the Freemasons.
Well, they do the Baphomet.
הממונה נוטל מצלפת מעל ראשו של אחד מהם.
Look at that. Look at this.
מיד מחזירו. וכעת מתחיל למנות ממנו עד שישלים את המספר שהסכימו עליו.
When you've got Christians funding, some Christians funding this third temple, it's just like, this is not going in a good direction, is it?
I think a lot of people believe that when this temple is built, either the Messiah will help build it or he will come after it's built. And so they're still expecting that Messiah. If we're funding it and we believe that the Messiah already came, we're kind of feeding into that same lie.
Well, the Antichrist, potentially.
Yeah, the abomination of desolation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, this is pretty serious stuff. This is not, the fact that they're actually doing an offering by the looks of it. Mm-hmm. This is not some silly little thing. This is
this is a big deal.
Tupperware.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, that's what's carrying the offerings, right?
This is a mockery. The pallets, the Tupperware.
Those sacrifices that are going to be happening in the third temple.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
crazy times, my friends.
It is very crazy times, but we need to continue to have the Jewish people in our prayers and just ask the Lord for a revelation and guidance on how to show them that Yeshua came, Yeshua paid for their sins upon that cross, but they need to accept that.
Right.
And so I'm no better than anyone else. It is only by the grace of the Lord that I'm able to be here and have the
anymore. And
that guy has rosacea. I hope he's not a vegan.
Our body is the temple where the Holy Spirit dwells.
And see, that's the key point that I wanted to point out. Yahushua came and did away with sacrifices. He made a new covenant, right? Our bodies are the holy temple. And that's also the kingdom that Satan wants to set up in. So yeah, this did take place.
That doesn't even look real right there. The pile of pallets that they had, and the way the ashes are, even that doesn't look right.
Well, they've sprinkled their offerings on it. I don't know, man. This is just, they keep dumping ashes. But that's where we're at.
It's supposed to be a temple, and look at the craftsmanship. That was intentionally done that bad. Nobody can actually build something that bad.
Hurts my head. But yeah, they're pushing ahead. They supposedly have the red heifer, and we're going to see what happens. So I guess this is the area we want to get Derek in to hear maybe some of what he wants to add if he's got the moment, or anyone else wants to. Jason will be on top of bringing you in. But yeah, that's what I had. Oh yeah, one of the research I wanted you to do was on the word meek. The meek shall inherit the earth. Because the Satanists like to, that's their go-to scripture, right? You guys are being mind controlled.
Well, we've all been, and I can say I was as well. I was definitely under a mind control because I didn't have the correct understanding, which you helped me to realize. So that's what we all have to do for each other. A correct understanding can break a mind control that's being played upon us. So often, if you're standing up for truth and you're standing up against Satanists, their retort is going to be Matthew 5:5, and that scripture. Here's some different translations here. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. God bless those who are humble, for they will inherit the whole earth. Blessed are the meek, blessed are the meek, blessed are the meek, blessed are the gentle, blessed are the meek, blessed are the humble. Happy are those that are humble. The gentle are blessed. So that's this humble, meek, this whole thing. And let's just see what the English word meek. The English word meek is quiet, gentle, and easily imposed on, submissive. All right. This is what the Satanists are trying to impose upon a person when they say that Christians are supposed to be meek, right? Because the meek are going to inherit the earth. They want you to be quiet, gentle, easily imposed upon, and submissive. But Ronnie straightened me out on this one. He's like, I don't think meek means what you think it means. And I'm like, oh, really? So let's do our research and go to the interlinear. And so when you do that, you get to the word meek right here, and it's 4239 in Strong's, right? This praus or praus. So it's an adjective. Its transliteration is praus. Phonetic spelling, praus. Definition, meekness. Usage, mild, gentle. Now, that right there would seem like the English definition is correct, right? But as you go through this, the second paragraph, this difficult to translate root, pra, right? So we're talking about a translation. Right? So the pra means more than meek. Whoa. What could it possibly mean? Biblical meekness is not weakness.
Pardon? Can you repeat that?
Biblical meekness is not weakness, but rather refers to exercising Yahweh's strength under his control, i.e., demonstrating power without undue harshness. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a big difference in transliteration.
So what it means is the English language, so we've got how many thousand words, right? Probably, generally speaking, 35,000 words that are used on average. And the term meek Well, this is what they've categorized meek to mean: quiet, gentle, and easily imposed upon, submissive. So in other languages, be it Greek or Hebrew or maybe French or Japanese or Taiwanese or Sudanese or whatever, they might have words that translate correctly to praus, right? But in English, we have meek, and it's a horrible translation because biblical meekness is not weakness, but rather refers to exercising Yahweh's strength under his control, demonstrating power without undue harshness.
So it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, and then it goes on to explain the English term meek often lacks this blend. Of course it lacks this blend. It doesn't have the blend in it whatsoever. Meekness is just being submissive and weak, right? So the blend is gentleness, reserve, and strength. Right? So when
the
it
strength
says,
of God.
When it says the meek shall inherit the earth, let's translate this correctly right now. And what it should say is the super strong, but hold back from being vindictive, shall inherit the earth.
That's right. Those with the power to kill that restrain themselves from doing so out of goodness will inherit the earth, right?
Correct.
So just yet again, some more truth. Like they always say, knowledge is power. Well, this right here, if you ever hear someone in a chat room saying, oh, you Christians are meek, you meek or inherit the world, you guys, you straighten them out and you tell them, no. That there means the strongest of us are under the Creator's control, and we don't act out of our own movements. We are praus. We are of the Creator's strength and power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're true Christians because you're holding the truth, which is it's incontrovertible, right? It destroys all lies and deception. Truth does. So you have all power, but it doesn't mean that we have to go around and humiliate and mock and scorn and or beat up and kill or do any of that kind of stuff. We can know we have that power and we can exercise it justly, chastise those who are liars and deceivers that do it unrepentantly even when corrected, and use your strength, use it, but don't come unglued on somebody. Don't resort to Satanist tactics, just pure ad hominem and no points or whatever. Just come with strong truth. That's what a real meek person, what a horrible translation. Meek's just terrible.
Yeah, obviously this is where the Jesuits spent the most of their time, was transliterating, mucking it up, adding words like Easter and meekness, and turning the other cheek is another one. That wasn't a sign of meekness. That was like, is that all you got? Why don't you hit me on this side too? That's what Yahushua did. Okay. And don't be fooled by some fake Christian that's coming around telling you that you need to be saved and here's a cross and then you got to be meek. No, that's like when someone comes and tries to throw a punch at me and I walk right through it. And is that all you got? That's what Yahushua did. He was powerful. He had the power of the Creator. He was the Creator. And that's, something that I really enjoyed that Caleb's been doing, calling out that that Yahweh really was Yahushai, the Father, just like John 1:1 said. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then the Word came down and tabernacled among men inside of Yahushai and dwelt among us. So I see we got some people that are joining us.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jason's the boss, man.
I just caught it. My apologies, everyone.
It's okay, brother. We were still finishing up. I got to block something.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man, really nice to have you in here, Scott. I wanted to start it off with talking to you. I noticed you sent me a message today while the live stream was going on, and man, you brought spiritual emotions to Jason. Elias is counting up dough on the screen. I don't think the people in the audience can see that. He's throwing some down on this truth. But yeah, brother, Derek, I want to super commend you, man, because you show praus with Nathan Thompson. You're not rude. So why don't you tell us a little bit of how that went down? I think you're muted, brother.
Could be muted.
Yeah, you got to hit the microphone. There. Yeah.
There you are.
How's it going?
Going well.
So yeah, it was really interesting the way everything happened today. I got off work and started feeling super anxious, and I just kind of was bummed out on the last couple of shows because I felt like I had been inactive on the front lines, and I didn't have anything to contribute, which I feel like you guys bring so much to the table at every show. To show up empty-handed is kind of I don't know, not the nicest notion. So I just happened to hop on to the group, and the very first thing I saw was Nathan Thompson going live with Patricia Steer, and I was like, oh, no way. This was for sure the Holy Spirit telling me it's time to do some work. So I called him out in a spirit of love, and I put some things on his plate, and as I suspected he would do, he didn't respond, and a couple of his little minion mods responded in defense of him, as they always do. He doesn't seem to have to fight his own battles anymore, but they just kind of deflected everything I put forth without actually addressing anything. I like to put it to them in a way that they really can't refute what I'm saying. It's very cut and dry, and I try to do it in a spirit of love to stop a riot from inciting in the group and from getting banned, because I think that as long as I abide by Nathan's rules and don't curse or insult and just keep leading in love, he's not going to boot me. But it's difficult getting people to participate, which is very disappointing. You think in a day and age where everyone's trying to be zetetic about everything, that they would want to participate in a good cognitive discussion.
Well, he's got 100,000 followers, right? So there should be all kinds of traffic if that was a genuine, true number of people following the page, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's super weird. And I don't know if my analytics are just really bad or if I've been censored all along. I kind of felt the Holy Spirit leading me to a realization today that I've been censored since I was, oh gosh, I don't know, for probably 10 years, long before I even realized I was a truther. I was always anti-establishment, and I spoke out about the government hiding the truth from us, and I had no idea what I was even onto. I thought I was just being a rebellious 20-year-old or 21-year-old and being cool in my anti-establishment views. But I grew in those and came to know them as the truth. And looking back over my posts over the last decade, I mean, I've always had just a few hundred friends on Facebook, but the amount of views my stuff gets is really, really low. And I looked into the amount of followers I have, and there's like 6 people who follow me on Facebook out of like almost 600 friends, many of which I've known for most of my life. So I'm
called
censored too.
Sandboxing, right? They create a virtual internet for you where everything you post and put up there, only like you and a select group can even see it. And nobody else really sees that stuff. And then they're selective with what they let out. It's Jason and they've done that to us too.
It's super frustrating, but at the same time, it only puts more wind in my sails, because if that's happening to me, I must be on to something. And looking at everything else that's happened to me this year, I feel like huge things are coming in 2019, and I can't wait to see how everything unfolds.
I know. You mentioned the word zetetic, and I think I picked up in the hangout today, Nathan and Pat, I guess his channel used to be Zetetic something, but now it's just gonna be Nathan Thompson. Did you ever come across the Zetetic and Zetetic societies were Freemason debating organizations?
No. The only place I came to know the word Zetetic from was the Zetetic Astronomy book by Samuel Robotham, back when I was young in the Flat Earth movement and was all about Mr. Dubé, who I'm suspicious may actually be Samuel Robotham.
Maybe.
Their writing style and speaking style are just absolutely identical. It has to be the same person.
It's completely plausible that Eric could have wrote those books or been a part of it, but he might be just a front man for that group.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
But Zetetic societies were started, I think, in the mid 1800s and sort of dominant through the late 1800s, and they were Freemason debating societies. So
Freemason Jesuit.
Yeah, so the channels that promote the term Zetetic and all that, there's a strong inclination towards them being Freemason or Jesuit.
That's interesting. All I knew of the word Zetetic is that it loosely translates to observant or observation.
Yeah. Well, check it out. Back check it. I remember looking that up a while ago. But yeah, Zetetic Astronomy, Robotham. That it's just another connection there.
It's kind of, I think I didn't want to believe it for a while, but I feel that the Holy Spirit's just been kind of connecting dots for me from one day to the next in rapid succession. But I'm thinking what we've witnessed over the last 2 months with Nathan Thompson and his rise to fame, I think he's been promoted into the higher levels of Freemasonry, because I watched him get shamed earlier in the movement, and he was being bad-mouthed all over all these major news networks all over the world, getting shout-outs in the New York Post. And that's a Masonic ritual, the public shaming. We see it happen at the Grammys. We see it happen all over the place. And then actors will go change their outfit and into their symbolic colors and come back and deliver a breathtaking second performance. Well, that's what we're seeing from Nathan. He got humiliated over the last year a whole bunch, and now
he was acting stupid though. He was promoting the stupidness. Like, that was who he was. He said that planes fly stationary and water rests stationary. Like, now he's saying that star trails don't meet the horizon on marine water lines. Now, I've seen many star trail footage that shows the stars converging towards the horizon, but so you called him out, he's promoting. So what do you think of the whole vegan thing? I've never asked you that, dude.
So I think from my personal experience, I genuinely believe that he is vegan. I saw what he looked like before he went vegan, and he used to have some meat on his bones. I mean, he was never like a jacked dude, but he was very sturdily built, and then he went vegan and his eyes sunk in and his body got skinny in weird places, like what tends to happen with vegan people. He lost all of his chest muscle, his shoulders shrunk, pretty much everything shrunk and his face swelled up, and that's because he drinks beer all day, every day. He's out drinking different sour beers at different breweries. That's his entire life.
And posting pictures, right?
Yep. That's it. So I do genuinely believe he is vegan, and I think that's gonna come at his own demise, because you definitely can't sustain that lifestyle long term. And if you look at him, you can clearly see that he is unhealthy, especially if you compare pictures versus 3 years ago, back when he was eating normal food and had a diet rich with different meats.
Well, you know that it's the New World Order program and the whole veganism movement. And tonight, how he was saying, you obviously heard the hangout where he was saying that he said in the Bible, he said, "Oh, you Christians, if you think you're living like the Bible," he's like, "None of the meat in the grocery store is kosher." Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's what he said tonight on the Patricia Steer show. And, I'd like to refute him here publicly. In the New Testament, the vision is given to, I believe it's John or Paul, and it's a sheet with all of the animals let down. And he said, all of these things are now good for you to eat. Right. So it doesn't have to be kosher. It doesn't have to be blessed. It really doesn't matter, even if it's been harshly. Go ahead, Jay.
Being kosher just means that a Jewish tax has been applied, and probably some Jew who's not a Jew that says he's a Jew has probably placed a curse on it. So I don't know.
But that's still. You always come over the top. It's so true, though, guys. And ladies, please remember that all food is made good. Shrimp, pork. It says in the scriptures we can eat anything that we want, except for humans and blood.
Oh man, I just lost my train of thought completely.
That happens. Hey, Catherine.
Hi. Yeah, decided to switch the camera off this time.
No problem.
Yeah, like I'm fully gone through all this thing with the meats and the food, and I went to Hebrew Roots, and I got into that for a while, and now UCTV has I think it might be about 2-hour video. They had a vegan on, and he was from what I heard, sound like nonsense. And the guys from Now You See TV, because they're like, okay, they get into the Old Testament a bit too much, but because they understand it, and then they're like, no, like we should be able to eat meat. So if you can find that Now You See TV video about veganism, like they're kind of experts on it, even though they are Torah followers. So yeah, but now what I've got is I think God will say, like, for certain people, you might have to like eat a certain way. Like for me, just because my health's so bad, I'm assuming God's like saying He's restricted me to a kosher diet, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do that, because it's not like generally for most people you can just eat anything, but Yahweh specifically through the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, he specifically told me that I have to be kosher. And
well, can I just throw this down? It says here in Timothy, 1 Timothy 4:4, it says they will prohibit marriage and require abstinence from certain foods that God has created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth. So the prior scripture, this is the Hebrew movement back in the times of Yahushua, and they said, for every creation of Yahweh is good, and nothing is received with thanksgiving should be rejected, because it is sanctified by the word of Yahweh and prayer. So the big deception is that the Jews, the say they're Jews, have been trying to put on the Gentiles that you can't eat this meat, you can't do that, you can't, and this completely refutes that. It says every creation of Yahweh is good, and it's talking about for foods to be eaten. right? So God looked upon all that he made, and indeed it was very good, and there was evening and there was morning, and that's written from Genesis. So and you go on and on and on. Do not call anything impure that Yahweh has made clean. There's so many different things in the scriptures. So I hope you know that, Yahweh made everything for us to eat. Now, some people do better on certain foods, right? I'm not going to deny that.
I think like my health is absolutely shattered. So I think like what I learned from Rashid Dossett on this, Rashid Dossett, check out his channel, Ari Dossett, it's really good. I had a conversation, R.E. Dossett.
I don't know that channel.
Yeah, I believe it's one of the best spiritual warfare channels. It just opened up my mind to the whole Rouse thing, I guess. That we do have the power to create judgment in the mighty name of Yahweh Shai. We can do that kind of thing. I love his channel. I talked to him about eating meat. He was the one who changed me around to getting away from the Hebrew roots, because I'd found some Hebrew roots friends, and then I think kind of in a divine intervention way, I got straight to Rashid. He explained that because I'd see videos where he'd eating pizza with ham on it, and I'm like, you're still eating ham, and then he's like, we're allowed to eat it. It's just whatever. Like when Yahweh says that he's supposed to, we're supposed to follow his commands. It's his personal commands to us, because we have a relationship with Yahweh through the Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit. Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like I'm kind of a bit like maybe Samson or Jesus. Like they have to restrict they specifically. It's not like everybody has to do this, but some characters in the Bible have restricted their diets in parts, and I think that's similar to me, and I can see totally why, because my health is absolutely shattered. So, as much as I don't like I love takoyaki, I would like to eat it. Like it was one of my favorite things. Like a lot of Asians kind of seafood stuff.
Can I intervene for a second, Catherine?
Yeah.
I think I have something to input there.
Yeah. That's okay.
So a large part of vitality comes from your mental state. I mean, that's not to say that food isn't majorly important. It obviously is. But if you fixate on your health and not feeling well and not thinking your health is in a good state and saying things like, my health is shattered, and you hear yourself saying those things over and over again, and what you're doing is very much manifesting that. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 17, and it destroyed my life for a couple of years. They put me on medication, and that's a really long story, but long story short, almost killed myself, and I took myself off all of their medication and their care. And I went the polar opposite direction of everything they told me, and I completely overcame and rejected my diagnosis. And I mean, they told me I wouldn't walk past 33 or wouldn't walk past 25 and wouldn't live past 30. And here I am at 33 years old, and I'm way more able-bodied than most people my age. And I just came through a car accident and a major burn injury. I'm recovering from a cold, and I've taken everything standing by the grace of God. But it's so much of it, 80%, 90% of health comes from your mental state. Your body will not do anything that your brain doesn't tell it to do. So if you're sick and you need antibodies, your brain's got to be the one to send that signal. If you're fixating on, oh man, I'm sick, I don't feel well, rather than I want to get better, I'm going to get past this, your brain's going to follow suit. It follows in step with your mind. So,
well, yeah, you've really nailed it there, brother. That's perfect. And just to add to it, because you know, I can't really add to that. That's the absolutely perfect advice. I'm sure Jason and I would give the exact same advice. Manifest positive things. Don't think you're shattered. Think you're already starting to get better, right? The other thing is, why would you put a curse on yourself? The law, the Samson diet, that I'm pretty sure, I don't know how well it worked out for Samson. I'm pretty sure he went to hell still. But you don't have to put a curse on yourself, sister. You know, that's exactly what the Jews that say they are Jews, they want you to be cursed, because we can't win that way. We have to put all our faith in Yahushua alone.
Yeah, I am being positive at the same time, and I'm trying to change my thinking that I agree with Yahushua, as Rashid would call it. He still uses Jesus Christ. He might not have done the research yet. I'm really pretty sure he probably hasn't done the research on the real name of but yeah. Yeah, I'm just being realistic, because it's like I kind of have to be realistic about where I am. Like, I really do, because sometimes I push myself too hard, and it's like, yeah.
But you can't push yourself too hard. There's no way to do that. Whenever your body is telling you to rest, I'm going to backtrack there. You should definitely get adequate rest. But usually, to get better, from my experience, what I found is you need to do the opposite thing that your mind wants to do. I just experienced this with my burn injury. I really just wanted to stay elevated and stay off my leg, but I wasn't progressing. Well, I went back to work, and I really wanted to just go home early every day, and I felt justified in doing so. But I forced myself to work through it, and each day I made leaps and bounds in my recovery. And within 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks of going back to work, I'm 150% back to my old work routine. So you can definitely never push yourself too hard. Where the body suffers, the spirit flourishes.
Well, you know what probably happened there, Derek, is so when you get back to work, you get yourself into a routine where you don't have the time to think about the woe is me's, right?
Yeah.
So so you're busy, you stop thinking about the woe is me's, and you forget about it, and all of a sudden the woe is me's sort of disappear. So it's what our mind is fixated on that tends to manifest. And
it's so true. Even, pain is 100% mental. There's a physical aspect to it, but it can be blocked out. I watched my wife give birth to 2 children 100% naturally, not even any anesthetic post-op, or not post-op, but postpartum. So, like, the human spirit is capable of huge things, but it's just sometimes it's a matter of persevering before you develop your strength to accomplish this stuff. But it's really all a state of mind, and it's all in your perspective.
I love that part, I guess. Yeah, I am progressing. I just, maybe the progression is very slow, but at the same time, there's so many things I have to learn about my childhood and what actually happened to me. Because like I was saying about when you were talking about the real name of you talk about what word Jesus actually means. And like, I'd heard it before, people saying, oh, that's the name of Zeus. But I guess hearing it from you, and I rate you guys that I can trust you highly. And yeah, so you're a good source. And like, oh, okay, well, they're saying it then. Okay, I don't believe everything they say, but like, I'm almost 99% on board with you guys. Yeah, just that seems like a big, like, yeah. Sorry, I'm rambling, but yeah. Yeah, whenever I get a truth in my mind, a new truth, like I realize something the government's been lying to us about, or I realized something about my life and how serious it was, like the kind of crap I got in childhood. My body relaxes a lot because I'm like in PTSD mode, and like I've sort of been in PTSD mode all my life. So yeah, yeah, like as long as I get a massive relaxation or massive truth, massive breakthrough every day, I'm happy. But maybe it could happen. Maybe I don't know. I think I'm going along at the right speed with my breakthroughs. I was really like covert narcissism, which is what I got. Like I was like the trash can in my whole family, whole extended family. Like narcissism is a good topic to talk about because people don't understand how evil people can really be, and how many of those people are in real life. We've both, well, yeah, we've all lost a ton of friends, and that's God saying, these people, just keep them out of your life. They don't care about you, and that's tons and tons of people. We're very lonely here, so you know you can just see the kind of, not everybody's like a full-blown narcissist psychopath, but they've got a lot of people have narcissistic tendencies, and they're only out for themselves. And people need to know the gravity of that it's pretty much everybody, because like we have a very small group, and this would be like the world's internet users, and there's like maybe very few people that come to this channel every few days. So out of the internet users, I mean, there's probably people who are good in other countries that don't have internet, like maybe in China. There's really good underground Chinese people who are serious about things, but I guess they don't have the internet to come here. But it's a good idea of just to see how many people are really serious, and there's not many. And it's just once you see the gravity of it, like, wow, narcissism is everywhere. And that's something I needed to learn to break through and get my health better. Like it is a mental thing. Like my health gets better when I get truth. Like what Rashid's saying, like agree with Christ, for Jesus Christ. Research that. Yeah, he keeps saying that it's true. Your life will get better if you agree with him. There are so many spiritual contracts that we don't even realize. We've got a ton of spiritual contracts. We just have to go, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. No, that's a lie. And you've been like breaking those spiritual contracts for me today. That's why I'm so happy. It's like, wow, that's you just gotta knock it. You have to knock out the lies and then get to the absolute gravity of the situation. It can't be just like, oh yeah, that's untrue. You have to really notice how bad a thing is, because
lots of gravity. Weight of the
yeah.
Gravity's not real, right?
Oh no, I don't mean gravity as in, okay, yeah, I don't mean that. I don't mean it in like the scientific sense. I don't mean it in scientific sense.
I was joking. I know.
Yeah. Just see the weight of how bad something is, because I noticed I'm going over the same lies over and over again. Like maybe a few years ago, I thought, oh yeah, that person's bad. But then you got to think, no, this person's really bad. You have to get to the exact truth of how bad somebody is before you can fully remove that lie and spiritual contract, and then things will be better. Yeah. So that's what Rashid's channel is all about. It's great. It's the best spiritual warfare channel. Well, this is pretty good. Like he doesn't.
Muted. You're fine.
He does a different type of spiritual warfare, more with like helping people get away from narcissists rather than trying to Look for shills on the internet. He started talking about shills now a little bit, but yeah, he does a different type of spiritual.
We're commanded, right, to expose the lies and deceptions. And you know, I'm just thankful that you're paying attention, Catherine, and that you do your own back checking. We really appreciate that here. I'm thankful when I see you in the chat. You always have a good attitude. I'm thankful for you, you know, sister. I know you're in the next day, right?
Yeah,
Is it Saturday? What time is it where you are?
Saturday about nearly 2:45, nearly 3 o'clock.
Afternoon?
Yeah, afternoon.
Wow, that's so amazing because with you having the sun in the sky and with me having the sun before it sets at the same time, it completely with the whole Pac-Man theory, and proves that we all have our own local sun. And we have to maybe figure out a time where we could both come on here and show the sun live in our skies, because that would then prove that the sun isn't jumping across anything. It actually just exists personally for each of us. I think Elias jumped on, and Scott Brez said he had something to add about the Hebrew moves. How are you doing tonight, Elias? But thank you, Catherine, so far. I pray for you. Pray for me, too. I've had a really bad migraine, and I'm trying to physically pray for me, too, sister. I'll pray for you.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Yeah. Okay, thanks for letting me kind of talk about that. And please check out Ari Doss's channel. Like if you have a problem with narcissists, check out Ari Doss's channel. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'll check him out. How you doing, Elias? I think he's muted. Maybe he's away. I cut you off, Catherine. Hi, Derek, did you have anything to add?
Sorry, my mic was muted again.
Yeah. You're lucky. Go ahead. You're vegan gains, man. He doesn't like babies, eh? He'd tell you got to leave. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
wow. They all get vasectomies too, the vegans. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. It's just a problem that's gonna eliminate itself. I mean,
you know what? I have a quick question before you go on. Anyway, it's true. That's the movement. Jason's still there. One thing I wanted to point out. Oh man, Jason's laugh. What was it I was gonna say? I forgot.
I try not to hate on the vegans too hard. I fell for it for a few months, and I think that I still hold firm on my belief that for a couple weeks, it can be healing for your body. At the most, maybe 2 weeks, it can be healing. It can flush the system out. It'll help you get rid of some intestinal plaque. But after that, your body's enzyme bank becomes completely bankrupt of all the enzymes that you get from eating meat. And
okay, you just reminded me. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
You know how like Patricia Steer and Nathan and them, like I don't know for sure if they're full-on Satanists behind the scenes. But if they hate, they love animals, right? They worship animals. They don't want to eat animals. And they hate humans, it seems like. I wonder if they almost would eat human over animal.
I wouldn't doubt that, honestly. I mean, their whole movement is meat is murder, and people who eat meat are sick, and they're the ones that deserve to die for slaughtering these animals. So I wouldn't be a stretch to see one of them speaking out saying maybe we should start eating humans and letting animals have the freedom. I don't think that's too far off. Fortunately, the vegans won't ever accomplish anything revolutionary, because if you've ever stood closely to a vegan, they kind of just blow away with the wind. So they're not capable of getting much done beyond crying on the internet about animal cruelty.
Well, your words about the possible benefits of it made me think. made me think of fasting, which is biblical, right?
Yes.
So
fasting is huge.
Fasting is huge. So it's a denial, right? So it's a you're holding back from something that you're accustomed to, that you feel like you need to have or whatever, and it gives your digestive system a break. It allows stuff that is built up in your body to be processed and cleared out. And a lot of the prophets, before they were given a vision, were told to fast. So, and there was other fasts as well, but yeah. So
I think that
Go
the
ahead.
way they ate biblically in the Old Testament, I mean, I've given this a lot of thought. I don't have scriptures to back it up, but just logical cognitive thinking led me to the conclusion that they weren't eating 3 times a day because they didn't have the modern appliances that we have, and it was a good few hours of work to prepare a meal. So if that's the case, 3 meals a day, then nobody's getting any work done. And we know that Yahushua said, if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. So we would have a bit of a contradiction there, because they'd be just spending all day preparing meals. So I believe that they ate once, and they had a well-balanced diet, complete with probably a variety of meats to balance out that enzyme bank. But for people to claim that being vegan is scriptural, and that I had one guy challenge me saying that Yahushua would have been a fruitarian or a vegan, and I had to present him with, well, according to the scriptures, Yahushua not only fed the masses with bread and fish, but after being beat to death or nearly to death, having his beard torn out, being whipped 39 times, this savage carpenter of a man carried his own cross up a hill. Like, you're going to try to tell me a vegan is capable of taking that kind of punishment, and then without even returning fire, picking up his own cross and carrying it up a mountain? That gives me cold chills when I think about the sheer strength of will and the power of the Holy Spirit to be able to accomplish something like that. There's just not something that's in the cards for a vegan. I'm sorry.
That's a solid point right there. Solid point.
Yeah, and I agree as far as like, there's no way he could have been a vegan. Like that whole outlook of just eating like that was handed to like Adam and Eve. But as soon as Noah stepped off the boat, you were allowed to eat anything. Like you're allowed to eat anything. It was only when the laws were given to Moses that some foods were considered to be unclean, but it wasn't. It was only because it was. Yeah, it was just to try to stumble. It was just to show that you cannot attain righteousness by works. That's what the whole law is about. That's why there's 600 and some odd statutes and commandments, because no one could accomplish that until Yahushua came and did it.
And it was also used in somewhat of a way to, teach people righteousness as well, right? Before the morals exist.
I agree. Now, if you look at it, I used to go to a Seventh-day Adventist church and used to study as a Hebrew Israelite. And the animals they were considered to be unclean, there was good reason not to eat those animals in that time, because there was no way to clean those creatures. Their digestive systems were. That's why. But nowadays, you can clean pork to be able to eat it. But at that time, you could get worms very easy by eating pork. The mud vein and catfish could poison you. Bottom feeders like shellfish and stuff like that could give you, different types of diseases. because they could not clean the food. They didn't have the level of skill back then to be able to clean, just to be able to clean the food, and didn't have the level of technology and understanding that we have now.
Hey, Elias, you guys hear me?
You know, so it was that. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You know how you're saying about that, and you're right. Back in the day, but then about how now the feeding practices of this mass farming techniques that they're using in GMOs and stuff. Don't you think it's almost like the same thing now again, where we should really watch what we're eating? You know what I mean?
I now see on the personal preference side, I still think that it is wise to watch what you eat. You can bless your food and everything like that. I pray over most major meals, especially when I sit down with my family, and bless it, in the name of Yahushua. But you should watch what you eat. I mean, no one goes out of their way to eat feces. No one goes out of their way to eat cancerous stuff, but they can hide that stuff now. They got food coloring. They got ways to make bad meat look decent. And so, but it's not just meat, it can be vegetables. It can be anything. So I'm not one to tell you, don't eat meat. I eat meat personally. But for myself, pork is bad for me. You know what I mean? Because simply I was raised to eat
it is for me too. I've learned that pork.
But
like pork, I stopped eating pork. It's just for me though. I'm not saying it's because everybody should do it.
Yeah.
Right. I do not. The law is not above me like the guilty. I like to try to do parts of the law to show Yahweh that I am His, to set myself apart. That's why I try to celebrate the Sabbath. That's why I stay away from shellfish and stuff like that. It's to set apart. I love bacon, but I don't eat it to show that I would rather be blessed in the next life instead of enjoying this life. So it's just certain things I do on a personal level between me and Yahweh. Let them know, hey, I love bacon, but I know that you didn't necessarily like the people eating it back then, so I won't eat it now.
Elias, dude, I'm totally on the same page as you. Like I feel like this is one of the things that with the whole like legalist thing that people are saying, or the thing like I think that some things we should keep, honoring, like obviously the 12 commandments and I'm sorry, 10 commandments. But I mean, like even like the food and like the shellfish thing, the bottom. Like, I don't want to eat, like, if an animal eats their own feces, I don't want to eat that animal. And that's what pigs do. You know what I mean?
I got to completely, wholeheartedly, and fully in love. I got to completely disagree with both of you guys. Sorry, brothers.
That's cool. That's fine, dude.
I do agree with if your heart makes you want to follow the law, or certain parts of the law, how could I ever say that that's wrong?
This is what I wanted to talk about, actually. Keep going.
But what I can say is a number of those things that you're trying to do was actually created as a curse. And you're denying the blood that was shed by Yahushua. He did away with all of that.
I'm not denying Yahweh.
That's a little strong. That's a little strong, right?
The law's not above me. I can do whatever I want. If I want to eat some pork, I can do it. It's not going to affect my salvation at all, one bit. I am not under the law.
But Elias, is your digestive system
parts of the law?
Like digestion,
I do certain parts of the law
when I can get a second.
I do it is to let Yahweh know that He is more important than my love for bacon.
Well, what if Yahweh said you can have the bacon? I made it for you. It's good.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy, though, Ronnie. It's not healthy. Think about it. It's not healthy though. You know what I mean?
Maybe don't eat it all the time. You eat it sometimes.
See, this is the big problem. The debate that happens. Like, I don't disagree with you guys, but what I'm telling you,
it says don't put that heavy yoke under the Gentiles. It says just
That's
don't
right.
Have them strangle their own blood, and stuff like that. They didn't get put under the laws when they want to accept the Gentiles.
Real quick.
You can eat. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Jesus said in the New Testament, worry more about what comes out of your mouth than what goes into your mouth. That's one of the one of the quotes. Right, Ronnie?
It's not what defiles a man that goes in his mouth. It's words that come out of his mouth.
Yes, that's one of the most important ones. But that doesn't say not to eat everything, though. You know what I mean? I don't think we should eat. Should we eat hearts? Should we eat hearts and brains?
Well, I don't. If you cook up a cow, you make up pasta or something, and you put the different parts of the cow in it. Sure, you're not wasting. And everybody, this is my opinion.
I know. This is all our opinion.
I'm definitely not telling you guys that you're going to be condemned. But what I'm saying is that there's really strong language. I don't know. There's really strong language in Scripture in the New Testament that if you continue down a certain path, I have seen a lot of people begin to fall because the law is very, very heavy yoke. And all I'm trying to do is warn the people that are listening that I have gone through a lot of these similar things. And what happened with me was I found that I was beginning to start to go towards the path of denying that the new covenant was made, that I'm a part of the third dispensation, because I start to put myself back into a Hebrew roots, and I do truly believe that the law, it was a curse, right? Some of it, I can't understand.
If I could just weigh in on this a little bit and give you all my opinion, I totally relate to what Elias was saying and Scott and Ronnie. So the eating of meat, none of us are arguing that it's against God's law. None of us are arguing that. But
no, we're not arguing that at all. Nope.
And I totally see giving up certain things as symbols of dedication to Yahweh. And then for others, some people just have come to know their own body, and some things sit well and some things don't. And so they may eat this and not that. This has become one of those really divisive topics, because food is something daily to all of us. And it's a very, very divisive topic. But yeah, for me, I went through a phase where I did go vegetarian, and I was on the verge of going vegan. And this was all the mind control of these AE map and model flat earthers that I was that was responsible for all this. And so you feel a certain internal instinctive, you want to do something symbolically to show your dedication. And for me, being a vegetarian didn't wipe me out when I was still eating eggs and cheese and stuff like that. I still had all the energy and strength and power that I would if I was eating meat.
Because you got protein. That's what we need.
Yeah, you got to have the protein. So they try to take that away with being vegan. It's way too strict. That can really harm a person if they stick to it too long. But yeah, I just wanted to weigh in on where I stand. But I totally relate to trying to keep some of the ancient laws, just because if those people did, what's wrong with me at least trying to do it, right?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Let me just finish what I was saying. One thing.
Go.
I don't believe that I will be cursed if I don't do it. I do it only to show Yahweh that I will separate myself from the world. Is to separate myself from the world. I don't have to. I can eat pork. It's nothing against. It's not going to harm my salvation if I eat it. I just know at one point in time he didn't like his people eating it, and I know that I love it. So therefore, I don't eat it just to show him that I am his. I do other things in other ways that's more meaningful. It's just a personal thing between me and him. And I don't
Like a
want to lay
Passover.
down that law or that yoke or burden on anybody else and say that you have to. I'm just explaining why I don't eat pork.
Yeah.
And that's the only
I completely understand you, Elias. Hey man, everything that you and Yahweh have together, man, I bless you and I bless that path. And like, I'm just saying it can lead to people then denying Yahushai. Not that it is leading you, because
Yeah,
you
it's like
clearly
it's divisive.
yeah,
It can be divisive. Yep.
I was given with the Spirit right away. As soon as this whole movement took place on the internet, I was the one who stood up and said, no. How dare you come here and deny that Yahushai said, I fulfilled the law. They are done away with. He said, if you love me, you'll love my Father, and you will do what he tells you. To me, that is the whole of the law. That's what, but I would never condemn you, brother. I did not mean that you were cursed. I misspoke. Forgive me for that. I just meant it can lead to that. That's all.
Yeah, if you constantly idolize the Old Testament too much, then you can get that curse. That's what you meant.
I totally agree. And therefore, I'm never going to be a law follower. We're way beyond that.
There's so many things we can't sacrifice animals. We don't know who the Levites are. We just fail. We can't do it. We can't have a non-sexual thought
I would
because
never want
internet page has a naked woman on it. There's so much. It's such. I'm just thankful that you're powerful enough, Elias, to stand up and at least take a stand on the pork. I can agree with your mission, but personally, I'm just telling people that I eat pork. I'm Canadian. There's two things: we have maple syrup and we have bacon. That's what we're known for. And I hopefully can make up my walk with the Creator in other ways. That's all that I can say.
Canadian bacon.
Amen, Ron.
How do you guys? Sorry if I can interject for a second. How do you guys feel that Yahushua would feel about hunting for meat? Because I've found in the last year that the stuff I've hunted myself, I mean, it just tastes better by no comparison. There's no sluggishness feeling after you eat it. It just 100% cleaner all the way around.
You clean the animal properly and you respect the animal, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you make sure that none of it goes to waste, because I think if there is a sin in eating meat, it would be the killing of the animal and then wasting half of it, taking your choice
Exactly.
cuts and throwing the rest in the dumpster. That's
that would be bad.
Yahushua's creation.
Well, I think anything that you put your time and effort and labor to, if you actually grow your own garden, you'll probably have way better vegetables than you would ever buy at the store. If you actually go through the effort of taking down an animal, cleaning it, and preparing it, you'll probably never have a better piece of meat.
Amen. Yeah. Like we always talk about Wagyu. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Catherine.
You also get to appreciate how everything's supposed to be done in the natural way. You appreciate the whole cycle of life and what life means and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I've been watching videos on people ethically killing foods, just in case. I watched someone ethically kill a fish and ethically kill a chicken, and it was even to do it the ethical way, that might be hard. And they have this thing where they say the meat eaters make the decisions because they're the ones who have to kill the meat, and I'm like, because paleo is very important, and we are supposed to eat a lot more meat. Like, as I go with the paleo thing, and that's pretty important, I think. And yeah, like, since meat is very important to our diet, then and it's very hard to kill meat, and a lot of people are squeamish these days, and like they just have the massive factories where people just like kill them, and we don't care about them. And I try to eat ethically farmed meat as much as possible, but I think I'm going to have to get to a point where I'm killing chickens, and I've seen it done the ethical way, and even that's difficult. But like, yeah, these farmers, off-grid farmers, they're like they know that there's the idea of it is the people who kill the meat to do the like kind of dirty work. They make the decisions because that's a hard thing to do. So like they're providing you the food and killing it, and I think like the men would be doing that, and that's kind of why the men are supposed to make the decisions, because they're supposed to be doing the hunting. And yeah, that's the natural way of doing things. So yeah, once you do the whole cycle of food and all that kind of natural stuff, you appreciate what goes into making food, because these days, like, you go to McDonald's and get a hamburger, there's so many processes that went into making that. Also some like GMO corporate stuff that went into making it as well, just to get you to eat it. But like this like kids these days, I'm kind of guilty of myself. Like, yeah, well, everybody's eating like stuff without having to like kill it yourself. So
yeah, it's become real easy that way. Yahweh's daughter in the chat says, getting into another topic here of hunting, and I just bring up the point that, I mean, all of us here, we know the Bible, right? How many times have you heard the term flocks used in scripture? Because
many.
Yeah, they had flocks and they had herds, and these weren't pets, all right? They didn't go through all the effort of growing grain and feeding and grazing these animals and taking care of them just because they were house pets. They did it because it was the food, right?
That God gave us. Yeah.
I believe it was their wealth, like how you would define somebody's wealth was by how many sheep and goats and cows and oxen.
It's still like that in some countries.
Yeah, like natural way.
And Yahweh's daughter also asked what we were talking about with pork and the lies. So no, I like I had said before, I was put in a place of refutation against the vegans and people that tell you that you can't eat certain foods, because the Levitical laws back in the Old Testament, the Mosaic laws, they said that they weren't allowed to eat pork, Yahweh's daughter, and it was done away with. There was shellfish, there was a bunch of things. No one can keep the law. There was only one person, Yahushua. He's the only one, and he actually fulfilled it by becoming the actual sacrifice for us. And you can, like Elias, he wants to be close to Yahweh, so he does the best that he can, just like I've done as well. And I just find like I have to keep continuing to stay. I'm just standing up for, oh, my mic's bad. I'm just standing up for the fact that you can do that, and you can also eat pork. It's all fine to eat.
Yeah, that's why you don't have to worry, because he did die for all of that to have.
Yeah, even Hebrew Roots people from Now You See TV were saying you can eat meat. Yeah.
That's surprising, because Now You See is a real COINTEL disinformation campaign station.
Not good.
Oh, not good at all.
I knew they were like, because they're Torah followers. I thought the only problem they had was Torah followers. And obviously they have Rob Skiba, but I'm hoping like I kind of felt a connection with him a bit, like, but at the same time, like, I'm just hoping it was only Rob Skiba who was the shill. And
Oh no, it's the whole network. It's all bad. Oh yeah, they also believe that the Earth is a ball, right? Or no, that I believe that's one of the guys there. I would say as far away as you can from Now You See TV. They also host Gary Wayne, who's a liar as well, and you know who Nathan Thompson also pointed out his favorite flat Earth book, people, is written by an FBI agent. What do you think of that, Derek or Elias? The Edward Hendry character is Nathan Thompson's favorite editor, favorite flat Earth book.
That guy Nathan Thompson is horrible.
I haven't looked at. He's the guy that he got the Facebook page, doesn't he? I've never looked into him yet.
He is, or was, I should say, an old friend of mine, and I really, as of the last month, I came to the conclusion that he's been I guess for lack of a better term, a crisis actor since before our friendship even began. He always had something that he was promoting, and he was always kind of trying to gain a following, and he was very strategic in the way that he maintained his relationships and his rapport with certain people. And I've watched him connect the dots over the last 3 years. And
Derek, you were the one that was you were friends with that guy?
Yeah, once upon a time.
Oh, I remember seeing you commenting or something about that.
Yeah, he was a buddy of mine, and I have a hard time giving up on him, but now I just kind of have to see him for just an extension of Satan, because that's who he's given himself over to. So now my sole intent with that relationship is just to call him out at every opportunity until he blocks me.
Yeah. Oh, really? So you've been? Oh, yeah. See, I forgot about that. I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, it's just everything goes down on the Flat Earth group, which I'm realizing is got to be at least 60% just fake accounts and shills, and it's probably 40% real. But
I kind of took Ronnie's advice. You know, when it comes to deleting channels, I like watching certain channels, but as far as Flat Earth is concerned, I'm just basically going to stick with here. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of those other Flat Earth channels are just chill AE Matt ones, and I'm not even going to keep looking there. And you see, like, I was looking at a whole bunch of channels, and all they all are saying the same exact thing. They're saying each other's stuff. They got like a 9-month rotation on it, and
they're on a network.
Documentary, the same footage. I'm tired of seeing the same old, footage from the 50s and 60s of certain groups of people of meetings using the same soundtracks and everything. It's like, you know what? Like, Roddy took it to the truth level, but I like trying to stay up on whatever might be new popping up in general that has to do with anything. But as far as Flat Earth itself, I think, this channel and maybe a couple more is all I'm ever going to, I'll keep my eye open if somebody else really picks up on something. But just to have one topic and have 6 channels like that, it's just crazy. It's unnecessary for me.
Hey, Elias. Blue?
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Elias, are you on speakerphone? Elias, are you on speakerphone?
No,
are you on
got
speaker?
Headset. I got Bluetooth headset.
Oh, Bluetooth is killing it. That's the problem. The Bluetooth is killing it, bro. It makes it horrible.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what you've been doing.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, that's what's been happening every week. It's going to be so much better because the Bluetooth is horrible.
Can you hear me now?
You're quiet now. Speak up.
I'm yelling into the phone. Can you hear me? I'm just speaking to the speaker.
No, it was better before. Scott, you are not gentle with your words, are you?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to be, Jason. I really am trying.
I know. It's all good, though. Hey, guys, here's something that came out on the Flat Earth. Guess what, Jason? Free Energy is back. I guaranteed my comments are gone. Yeah, he turned my comments off, but he's out promoting that this is the reality that you guys live in. This one, he's closer than the fake flat Earth model, right?
That's a bit weird. It looks kind of strange.
The problem is the north and south, right? That stretch to infinity.
Yeah, that's what my comment had said, but it's gone. Obviously, he he took it down. I said, it's great that you got the map with the equator right, but the land masses are distorted to infinity the further you go away from the equator. Totally debunks everything that he's trying to do here.
That's like the classroom map. The classroom map. You know what I mean? When you're in a classroom.
Yeah, standard Mercator.
That's not. Yeah, that's not right.
He shows two suns. He's completely disinformation, right? Two suns. That's.
Does the Bible say two suns? The Bible says one sun.
No. Yeah, one sun. We all have one sun.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, out of all the flat earthers, at least this one day a year, because he's got the shadow here completely straight. Maybe this person here isn't seeing the sun rising at exactly 90, but everywhere else along this straight path, that actually works twice a year. But if you actually were to try to scale the land masses here, you can see Antarctica is huge. Greenland, this is like 19 times smaller than Africa, right? You see the problem with Greenland, guys. I just wanted to quickly share that.
Have you guys seen the bit from that show, The West Wing? They had the guys talking about the size and shapes. Like a guy came into White House and said, "Oh, the map's not even correct." Have you seen that video? Hello?
I don't think so.
I was
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Ronnie. I was going to ask you guys about something because I talked to a couple of Hebrew Roots pusher guys the other night. And they were like, I had red flags going off the whole time. Yeah. Screen share this. Look, Ronnie, have you ever heard of Levite Khan?
No.
Yeah. Well,
no.
You ever heard of a guy called Novice Code Searcher?
Nope.
You ever heard of Crow 777?
Oh yeah, he's a fake the lunar wave.
Isn't that guy? That guy has a bunch of different channels.
He could.
Yeah, look up this Levi Khan guy. I talked to this guy, and I didn't even know who he was, but like he was pushing the whole. You have to say Yahushua, okay?
Okay.
And I'm like, and I brought up. I got to tell you guys, this is awesome. And I said, well, Yahushai, and he's like, oh no, this Yahushai thing, no, and he like it triggered him big time, dude. You can ask Terry Zoppi, he listened to it. Like I'm not even joking. Like all of a sudden, like he flipped out. Yahushai, that's all those other people.
Who? Yeah, you were confronting.
Yeah, that's what I do. But I mean, like. I didn't know who this guy was, but like he like just for some reason the Yahushai, I said it, and Terry will tell you, he flipped. It was like a trigger. It was weird. It makes sense.
Super powerful name. When I first learned the name, Jason can attest to it. I ran around like Yahushai. I couldn't stop saying it. I was so excited.
It kind of feels right, like a Yahweh, and then Yahushai, his son, the son, right?
Totally, yeah, brother. I was just noticing there was someone in the chat pushing the circle of the earth reference when it was actually referring to a circuit. The word is used many times for.
Remember we talked about that the other night?
Yeah, repeating like the festivals happened in a circuit. Like each year, they made a circuit to the festival. They went there and came back.
Yeah, or a circuit can be a straight line. You can have a circuit as a straight line even. That can be a
there and
circuit.
back. Yeah, yeah. As long as you do the same, you continue through the path. It's just funny that that's the Freemason Jesuit obfuscation of the transliteration, with the same as the word parus as the word meek. Meek does not mean mild. It does not mean submissive or weak. It actually, the difficult to translate, the root pra, it means more than meek. It's not weakness,
like that.
Refers to God's strength. Now they've done the same thing with the word circuit. They've done the same thing with the word firmament, right?
Yes.
The firmament.
Yep. That's big. That's huge.
Circuit training at a gym doesn't
mean
that you go in circles,
Jason.
right?
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking too. Circuit training.
Circuit training.
You don't run around in circles.
Yeah, but it's funny. Just getting to share this time with you guys, especially you two, Elias. Hopefully, I didn't offend. I'm still kind of feel bad when I have to take it to cursing Yahushua.
Elias was just saying that he was giving up something that he might have loved, kind of like when people would do the. See, I agree with you, Ronnie. Like rituals, we should not be ritualistic, and we should not. You know what I mean? Like I don't eat pork because I used to love pork, and then now I realize it's my digestive system. I just eat birds. Like I always say, I eat birds.
Birds are
good.
What I mean?
I eat birds, some fish, and then fruits and vegetables. You know what I mean? But I'm not telling people you have to not eat pork or anything else. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing that at all. But this Hebrews Roots movement is trying to be no, you have to do this. Dude, they're infiltrating. You guys know this, right? Ronnie, you definitely know this, right?
Oh yeah. Well, that's the point that you make is, so the Hebrew movements, just like I believe the Quran and the Muslim faith, they were both set up by Jesuits, right? By people that are controlling the movement to lead people into cursing Yahushua, to damning themselves. And that's why I took such a strong stance against not eating pork. Mostly because it leads
goes
to
along
that,
with
right?
that. Yep, exactly. It doesn't mean it's bad to not eat pork. You can not eat anything, but if you push that agenda, you're kind of going along with what they're doing.
Elias wasn't pushing it. He made it clear. But for the other people that
is real,
might, for sure, he's got a great heart for you, Hal. But for other people that are listening, that they might not understand, yeah, you got it, Scott. So the Hebrew movement, and they also came out with specifically the Black Hebrew movement came out with the name Yahushai. It was Lion of the tribe of Judah, Teach. He was the one who did the great research. And then he went and blasphemed the book of Enoch, railroaded a lot of his teachings into the ground. And it was mostly like the movement in New York City with the Hebrews.
I saw some of that.
Yeah, they're the guys out there yelling Yahushua, and they're still trying to keep the laws and all that. And it's completely taken away.
Problem.
So if let's say
they're twisting.
Jason tries to share the name Yahushua with his parents or with somebody that doesn't know, and they do a YouTube search, and the first thing that pops up is this angry Hebrew roots guy standing on New York screaming and yelling, Yahushua, blah, 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 and it completely served the purpose that they wanted. And what's funny is Jason brought up a really good point, because G-Man is a fake Black Hebrew fighter. There probably is some amazing guys in the Black Hebrew Roots movement that are super, super holy, and they're also being condemned as well.
They're being censored or deceived, maybe, right? Is that what you're saying? Sorry.
Yeah, censored and deceived, just held down, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like where the truth doesn't come to the forefront, especially on this algorithms and all this stuff.
Exactly. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to cover, Scott?
Yeah, I really did, because I promised Sarah I would bring this up. Because I was talking about 5G, and I see a lot of the little 5G transponders going up for the past year here, and I asked a lot of people, I'm like, do you guys have them? And they're like, no. But I know that my area gets a lot of this stuff early, like California does, right? And how do you guys feel about the 5G? I haven't seen you guys say anything about that.
I've banged on a number of channels that
I could ask you.
Are promoting it like it's it's going to be able to control us. It's going to be able to enslave our minds. It's the new world order and all that kind of stuff.
Interacting with the
What's that one guy?
chemtrails, skull technology, voice to skull. But Jason, I got a question for you, for everyone, and Scott, you can try to answer it too. But the new 5G technology, what type of a signal is being transmitted specifically?
It's a radio frequency.
Is it a millimeter waves and different frequency? It's just a different frequency.
Yeah, I'm trying to get down to the type of frequency, the actual specific wording.
Would it
be
the
UHF?
The gigahertz you're talking about?
What's that? You're both talking.
Sorry, I was saying the gigahertz or
it's ultra low, right? It's like
it's all
super lowest, like most skeptical, non-physical, like it's like the ultimate nothingness signal. It's like ultra low frequency waves, right? It's not like they're
millimeter. That's what they say.
Yeah, they're not cooking us with these big microwaves and they're like we're gonna get cooked. That's all I was trying to say.
Are you guys familiar with like the more modern routers right now? A lot of them have two channels, right?
Mine says 5G on it, my wireless router, and that was a year ago when we got it.
Yeah, well, a lot of the modern routers will have two channels that they broadcast on. One's 2.4.
And then 5. There's like 2.4 and 5.6 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So the 2.4 one actually has a much longer range.
That's like the wireless, just regular telephones, like house phones, right?
Yeah, like wireless telephones before we had cell phones and stuff. But after we had corded phones, we had the wireless telephones, and we had the 2.4, and those have the greatest range, but the amount of data that you can carry over that frequency is also the least. So then on our routers, we also have this other one where we can get more throughput, more bandwidth, but it only goes a shorter distance. All right. So the more bandwidth that we can stick through a frequency, also the shorter distance that it can travel. So this 5G thing is going to require a massive amount of antennas all over the place in order to increase the bandwidth.
Yes, that's why I see them all the time. I see a lot of them, little tiny ones.
Mm-hmm. And so I really think that this is nothing but like fear porn on the part of satanic disinformation channels that's trying to get you to think that you might fall under their control, right?
Yeah, and give up and be like scared and fearful.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that it's not gonna be, bad for certain people. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, because it's the extra bandwidth is also going to mean their extra capacity to be able to surveil and know everything that we're doing all the time.
Yeah, they're going to be able to geolocate you quicker, faster, more accurately, more detailed, right?
Trying to be omnipresent. Like it's Satan trying to be like God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that totally lines up with scripture. The other funny thing too about chemtrails is they're supposed to be heavy metals, right? I'd like to know anybody on the panel quickly before we go, if you guys want to just let me know. Do you think heavy metals can float in the sky and never come down?
Oh my God, I can't believe that. I didn't even think of that.
If they're nanoparticles, though, I don't want to say it like that.
Do you think there's such a thing as a particle?
Like, no, see, that's the thing. Like, if you believe in the atomize, or no, I'm saying though, yeah, you're right, because it depends though. It depends.
Think about this, Scott. What's the smallest shaving you can possibly imagine?
I know, believe me,
of
I know.
a piece of metal.
I've thought about this. Believe me, I've looked at every raindrop or every, I mean, I know, but what I'm saying though is, what if? I mean, I don't like to say what if, but they're definitely spraying something, right? Sometimes.
I have something to say about this.
It could be fear porn.
It definitely is part fear. Definitely is part fear porn.
On the new engines too, right? They're byproduct of the compressed air as a cloud. Yeah, Atlas is right. Come on, everybody on this channel should know. I'm sort of being facetious. I shouldn't be. That's a bad word. I shouldn't be that way. But we don't. The one thing about chemtrails that still to this day will always get me is they actually help prove that we're in a spiritual realm, because we can actually pray them away and they disappear, and the sky clears up. And you just have to have a sincere heart with the creator, right? So.
Yeah, on those certain ones. And then there's other ones created by actual airplanes that those ones you're not going to actually pray away because they're just vapor trails, right? But
because that's one of the biggest fear porn going, right? You have the 5G and the chemtrails, right? They're blocking out the sun and they're poisoning us. But, a few people have done the test where they've taken the snow and the rainwater, and there's been no traces of heavy metals in them, right? Besides the heavy metals that we all ingest anyway.
Those two things are the mainstays, the actual foundation of Project Bluebeam. Right?
Yeah.
That is the foundation. They say that the chemtrails and the 5G is how Project Bluebeam is going to work, right?
Yeah, and the fancy music and the light show.
Yep.
Oh man, I loved it when you busted down Nicholson. That was so funny. The real reason for chemtrails and 5G technology. It took them like 45 minutes, and then they're going to cook you, right?
Well, and then he had the satellites. This is Nicholson, right?
Yeah, the satellites, the warships, or the spaceships, and bouncing. Oh, friends. And lastly, too, go ahead, Jay.
I might have to head to bed soon.
I just wanted to say, just be careful of the spirits that you're encountering out there, and super thankful for everybody that's here with us and in this spiritual war. Like you guys mean so much to me, and not in like a Nathan Thompson, I'm going to cry on Patricia Steer's show way. You actually really do mean something to me, that I am so thankful that I get to talk with all of you in the chat, each and every one of you on the other side of the screen. I really hope that you're blessed in the blood of Yahushua.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks. I feel some. Yeah. I'm glad I can talk to people who are kind of on the same page. Yeah. If she gossip, that'd be great as well, but it doesn't. But yeah, it's good that we can have live chats, because like I can't even go to TVC Mario anymore. I'm not on the same. Like he's all right, but I'm not on the same wavelength as him. Like, yeah, that'll be a whole nother topic to talk about. Like, I'm not so much into Mario anymore. Like he used to do live chats, and now this is like my only live chat place, which I can do that now. Like, so thanks for having me on and having this, having these shows every few days. I kind of need it because I can't talk to anybody else. Like, there's a few people I can talk to in real life, but yeah.
You can always talk to me, sister, but I'm gonna promise you, I'm always gonna say the truth, no matter what. And I got nothing but love for you.
Thanks. It's really good to hear that, because yeah, I don't really have a family, but I guess you're my family now. So like, as the kingdom of heaven kind of family thing.
Brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers are those that love Yahushua, right?
Yeah.
I think Derek unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to chime in and say goodnight. Thanks for having me, and it's been a lot of fun. I hope I don't blow you up too much on Facebook, man. When I start getting pumped up when the moment arises,
You don't.
I feel like I have to tell everyone.
You don't blow me up at all, brother. I am so thankful, and the prayers that I make from my heart for you and your family are never ending. You don't ever have to worry. I will always be in your corner praying for you, brother.
Well, thank you, man. One last thing I wanted to touch on, just to give you guys a quick update on my Job story. I put it in a nutshell because there's a lot of personal information here, but money has heavily divided my family. My aunt and uncle and my grandparents and my mother, who I've been estranged from for the last year and a half. We kind of have a hunch that there's some inner workings going down where they're trying to eliminate other inheritors of my grandfather's estate so that the last man standing, so to speak, will reap all of my grandfather's the accumulation of his life's work, which is amounted to a very large sum of money. And I don't really care. Personally, I think that his money should go wherever he wants it to go because he spent his life working and saving it. And if he wants to give it all to charity or to just burn it on his deathbed, then well, so be it. That's his prerogative. But they're trying. My grandfather's not in the soundest of mind, and so they're trying to manipulate him. And I think there's things being done to set up a plan to either take myself out, my mom, and my aunt. I think we're all on the hit list because we're all inheritors. So, and we're right in the enemy's camp. I mean, we live on my grandparents' property where we see these people on the regular. So we've had to be in prayer pretty heavily. My uncle and his wife are now separating, and she became privy to all this. She's a Christian, and she became aware of what's going on with everybody within the family, the inner circle, and she decided she wanted to separate because she felt that there was a growing target on her head as well. So it's interesting. My mom left the state because she felt the presence of that target on her head. And now here we are living in the eye of the storm. So all the prayers are very much appreciated. I don't think the enemy's going to take me out because he hasn't been able to yet. But nonetheless, it is a little unnerving.
It'll probably all be fine. And, there's probably nobody better in your family to inherit it than yourself, because you would know how to use it righteously, because you're a seeker of truth and a follower of truth. So I hope that it just lands right in your lap and that you can use it righteously.
Well, if it does work out that way, I mean, it's in God's hands. So whatever Yahweh wants of the situation will be, and I'll be okay with it. But if it does work out that way, I'll be ready to invest heavily in the community.
Oh, thanks, brother. You're the best. You know what? Try not to manifest anything negative. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm trying day by day to just focus on the positive, and everything that Yahweh has spared me from this year. I can't let that fall by the wayside. I have to take that into consideration before allowing myself to be fearful.
Yeah, have no fear. That's pretty clear from the scriptures, right?
Yep. For the Lord has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That's my favorite Bible verse. 2 Timothy 1:7.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you all Sunday, right, Jason? Where did I was gonna say where did you guys find this information out?
Well, just before that, I'm hoping that tomorrow I can finish the build of the flywheel generator, so that Sunday you can find out that you don't have to buy power from the centralized power brokers of this world anymore. And that you found where, Ronnie?
Only Beyond Flat Earth.